Welcome, everybody. This is Big Baby Ben.
This is just Black tonight, guys. And it's that time. It is time to break down MCW for February 28th. I know we're a couple days late. And Big Baby, man, you usually give me the we're going. You just kicked it off tonight. So let's get started here.
Kicked it off, and first and foremost, the big news out of MCW: a new member of Wrestling with Bros added to the family. Little Ben Jr. brought into the world at the event. Couldn't stay at MCW. Had to go see my son being born. So such an awesome experience, brother, to see your kid come in the world.
Brother, that was awesome, bro. Like, man, we were waiting for the show to get started. We couldn't find Wrestling Bitch. Wrestling Bitch was missing. And finally, you said, bro, she's still in the back. So we had Stacy, one of the members of MCW, go in and check on her, and come to find out it was time. It was time for Ben Jr. to be born. And we are so happy, so excited that we now have a new member of the Wrestling with Bros family. Welcome to the world, little Ben Jr.
So why don't you go ahead and kick off the show with what MCW started like, Judas?
So first off, I do want to say hello to Stacey McCormick in the comments section. Good evening, guys. Good evening to you as well. All right, so MCW on 2/28 of 25, guys. This show was amazing. We started off with the fans filling the arena, guys. Skydive Chicago, the fans started pouring in, and the excitement got real right away. The fans were anxious. They were on the edges of their seats. We kicked it off with a pre-show match, guys. With the pre-show, four-way elimination scramble match featuring Quest Parker, Drake Holloway versus Ip Mason versus Anthony Lopez. This match essentially was what they call a scramble match. One by one, each person was eliminated until we were down to the final one. With a mix of unique styles and high-flying, hard-hitting action, Anthony Lopez picked up the victory over Quest Parker after securing a combination of moves and finishing it off with a package pile driver to secure the pinfall. These
Real
four
quick,
guys.
Judas, here's Junior.
And there is big baby's Ben Jr. right there. And there's Wrestling Bitch. How's it going tonight? Oh, he is so adorable. Absolutely. He's awesome. I can't wait to meet him in person. Wow. It's tiny. Very tiny. Half the size of both my boys. So little guy for sure. But he will grow. He will grow for sure. So these four young talents that we were speaking about, Quest Parker, Drake Holloway, Ip Mason, and Anthony Lopez, put on a showcase for the fans in attendance that left everyone excited for more action to come throughout the evening. This speaks volumes, brother, because with this, you never know who may show up or what may happen at an MCW Illinois event. We didn't even know these guys were coming. They came, they performed, they gave us a hell of a match. But be sure to follow MCW on social media for more events and ticket media and ticket information. I apologize. Right there, guys, you see the MCW card coming up for this year. And the next show falls on April 25th, 2025.
So the show opened up with Eric Schultz, didn't it, Judas?
The show started out with an Eric Schultz celebration. And there we go, Jerry Dennis. Congratulations, Ben. Thank you, Jerry. Much love, brother. And right there we have Eric Schultz looking into the ring here, starting the show on February 28th. The show opens with a ceremonial open with the national anthem, and it's a small tribute towards MCW founder Jimmy Smooth, leaving fans excited for the action at Skydive Chicago. In Ottawa, Illinois on February 28, 2025. The show immediately kicks off with a celebration of Schultz as MCW General Manager Damian Saint, majority stockholder in the company, majority owner. MCW General Manager Damian Saint welcomes the MCW fans to the first event of 2025 and introduces the new MCW Heavyweight Champion Eric Schultz to the ring. With the entire MCW roster at ringside, Eric Schultz begins to take a good look at his competition and to address the roster and fans all together. Eric Schultz was not happy with the outpouring of boos from the fans, but very quickly reminded everyone that he is the champion and he demands the attention because he is the champ. Eric Schultz begins to air his grievances towards MCW GM Damian Saint, and the fans stating his journey is a story titled Screwed, Swindled, and Scammed by Management during his tenure at MCW. Essentially, Eric Schultz coming out griping about the fact that he had to face people that weren't even on the MCW roster. Despite having to overcome the collusion of management, Eric Schultz has indeed proved that he does get results and is in fact the standard of excellence at MCW. Nick Nolan then makes his way into the arena and interrupts do not play that yet. Interrupts MCW World Champion Eric Schultz championship celebration in response to Eric Schultz. But most importantly, right there you see nasty Nick Nolan, greeting the fans, showing his love for the MCW fans out there and in the arena. In response to Eric Schultz, but most importantly, to confront MCW GM Damian Saint for allowing such a fallout to take place this past October when Eric Schultz interjected himself into the main event matchup, costing nasty Nick Nolan his MCW World Championship opportunity. Nick Nolan then stated he, in fact, was never pinned in the matchup this past October. Therefore, he never lost the matchup and asked Damian Saint to grant him one more shot at MCW Gold. And as Nick Nolan aims to become the first ever 3-time MCW World Champion in company history. And of course, Eric Schultz got to interject himself into this. He's completely shocked at the ego of nasty Nick Nolan for him having the nerve to interrupt his very own championship celebration and ask for another championship opportunity once again. Surprisingly, Eric Schultz agrees to Nick Nolan's wish by granting him the opportunity for the MCW World Championship, but under one condition. He must defeat Axel Rico. Axel Rico makes his official debut as fans were shocked and surprised to see Axel Rico in MCW Illinois. General Manager Damian Saint very quickly puts MCW World Champion Eric Schultz in his place by reminding everybody that only he can make the matches official. And although he's intrigued with Nick Nolan's wishes and the surprise appearance of Axel Rico, Damian Saint decides to raise the stakes on our number one contenders match, issuing a loser leaves MCW match featuring Axel Rico versus Nasty Nick Nolan in the main event. So essentially, Eric Schultz, knowing exactly who and what Axel Rico is capable inside the ring, happily accepts Damian Saint's request and is so confident in Axel Rico's abilities, stating that he never wants Nasty Nick Nolan in MCW for as long as he is MCW champ, but will indeed be keeping a close eye on the main event match. So, essentially, let's talk about this. Nasty Nick Nolan placed in a match against Axel Rico. In this specific lineup, essentially his career with MCW is placed on the line for as long as Eric Schultz is MCW champ. Whoever shall lose will leave MCW permanently until that title is no longer around Eric Schultz's waist. What are your thoughts, big baby?
Eric Schultz, not one of my favorite wrestlers of MCW, but I have to admit, as a heel, this guy stands out. He's impressive. He gets the crowd pissed off. He gets the crowd involved. He gets the booze going. He circulates buzz in the room. Eric Schultz has been getting results in a cheating fashion.
You're absolutely correct, brother. He has been getting the results so well that he's even got us ticked off. He calls us wrestling with marks. Wrestling with marks. Well, you're a wrestling champ, Mark. So that's there. So, my opinion is as we move into this card, we move into this show, as we break it down, guys, we will find out the exact results of what happened between Axel Rico and Nasty Nick Nolan. Now, we move on to the next match, big baby. White Meat versus the Mutants. So, we know, there we go, the Mutants right there. And there's White Meat, Stone Ambrose, and Robbie Reeves. And we love this nickname, White Meat. FXB, the Black Sheep, along with Lizard Man, known as the Mutants, they had another opportunity put on to take out White Meat. Following their matchup this past December at MCW's St. Jude's Toy Drive event, and after picking up their debut victory over the Mutants, FXB and Lizard Man, White Meat, Robbie Reeves, and Stone Ambrose showed up determined to improve their win record to 2-0 as they went head-to-head with the Mutants in a tag team rematch on February 28, 2025 in MCW at Skydive Chicago, Ottawa, Illinois. Although the Mutants continue to improve their chemistry as a tag team together, White Meat, Robbie Reeves, and Stone Ambrose seem to be cohesive together after being known to team all across the Midwest. Fans were excited as the show began with the Mutants taking momentum for most of the matchup, showcasing their unique combined style of speed, strength, and athleticism. As the match began to wind down, White Meat began their dirty tactics against the Mutants, causing a distraction on referee Dev Anderson, followed up by a low blow shot behind the referee's back to secure a pinfall victory to improve their win record to 2-0 against FXB and Lizard Man, leaving fans showering White Meat with booze. So,
White Meat.
Let's talk about White Meat. Perfect heels. They're doing great. They're doing a great job. But what the fans want to see is this the end of it? Is this the end of FXB and Lizard Man, the Mutants, versus White Meat, Robbie Reeves, and Stone Ambrose? Is this the end, or will there be a third time? And will the third time be the charm? And A&B, congratulations on the baby boy. Thank you, A&B, big
Thank
baby.
you, A&B. Thank you, A&B. That means a lot, man.
The MCW, a huge supporter, helping out with everything, and we love being part of the MCW family and being able to talk about the shows. And it really is a family. It really is a family. So, what's your thoughts, big baby? Do you think coming up at the next show in April, will there be a third match, and will the third time be the charm?
Well, Reeves and Ambrose have been so impressive with the Mutants, and they're just a perfect tag team heels right now for MCW. They're what the tag team division needs. So talented, so quick, so agile, so fast, and they cheat. They get the job done. I mean, White Meat is on fire right now. And let's not take anything away from FXB or Lizard Man. These are two talented guys in the middle of that ring. They are awesome, and I have felt the chop of FXB, and I can tell you right now, it does not feel pleasant at all.
No.
So the fact that White Meat is 2-0 against the Mutants, that speaks for itself.
It absolutely does speak volumes that they're able to do this. But honestly, I think if they get into the middle of that ring and face the Mutants head on and don't play any of their dirty antics, these guys have definitely got the it factor to beat White Meat, Stone Ambrose, and Robbie Reeves 1, 2, 3 in the middle of that ring. I don't think these two guys can get it done against FXB and Lizard Man without pulling the dirty antics. You know, and we move on further into the card, and we've got some female wrestling here, guys. Sadie Bell versus Reagan Lydell. The Outlaw Sadie Bell made her MCW debut against Big Hoss hippie Reagan Lydell in an inaugural match to introduce the MCW Women's Division. Fans were very excited to see women's wrestling at Midwest Championship Wrestling, Illinois, and very quickly got behind Reagan Lydell as she continued to showcase her fighting spirit and determination to win at all costs. Sadie Bell showcased an impressive display of skill and charisma, but in the end, Reagan Lydell was able to secure the win as fans were happy and excited to see her hand raised in victory. Well, unfortunately, that victory was short-lived for Reagan Lydell as the miraculous Leslie Michelle surprised everybody with a shocking attack on Reagan Lydell after a hard-fought match against Sadie Bell. Leslie Michelle took a microphone and began to remind all the fans that she was indeed the very first ever women's match in MCW back in August of 2023. Wow. And is back with a new attitude and has her sights set on making her in-ring return very soon. You know, I gotta say this, brother. For the very first match that we have officially called for MCW, women's match, Reagan Lydell, the Big Hoss hippie, versus the Outlaw Sadie Bell. This match spoke volumes. It told me that the women were proud to be in MCW. They are ready to make a name and make a statement. And it all got sealed off with Leslie Michelle making her statement. She is here to stay, and she is not here to play. She is here to prove that she is the dominant one in the women's division. So coming up soon enough, we will, I'm sure, get Leslie Michelle versus Reagan Lydell, and we shall see who is the most dominant woman in the MCW division.
You know, Reagan's so impressive. Sadie also impressive. But Reagan, I want to step back for a minute. Her kicks are so nasty in the corner with those Booker T kicks that she does with them long legs. The hippie's so impressive in the ring, getting the job done. And we've seen her wrestle for more than just MCW. This girl is an amazing talent. And nothing from Sadie, but I'm a Reagan fan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Reagan Lydell, love her style, love her spirit. She has that it factor in a wrestling ring. And I see this girl going places. As long as she continues that momentum that she's doing right now and changing up her gimmick and changing up her character to move in with the times, Reagan Lydell definitely has the it factor to move into the big leagues.
Absolutely. You know, them kicks that I were talking about, I did go back and look at the photos. I did see she hit that Booker T kick in the corner. So nasty. So impressive. You know, Sadie putting up a great fight at MCW, but Reagan just more dominant at the end of the match.
You're absolutely correct, brother. Absolutely correct. But we hope to see a lot more women's action move into MCW as the times move on and as Wrestling with Bros continues to call the matches, record it live. We continue to look forward to this at every show. So now we move into something that has been a very interesting scenario. A&B Chris Mercer. This storyline, this build-up, there has been tons and tons of hype behind. The fans are 100% behind seeing what's going to happen. A&B entered the Skydive Chicago Auditorium to address his future at MCW Illinois and to enjoy the evening in his very own hometown of Ottawa, Illinois, with the MCW fans, family and friends in attendance, and only for Chris Mercer, the wild card, to run in with a steel chair and brutally ambush and attack A&B, ruining any happy birthday and A&B chants in the venue, causing fans in attendance to erupt with anger. Quest Parker and Drake Holloway both made their way out to the ring to try and stop Chris Mercer from causing any damage to Austin Michael Baldridge, but instead was cut off by Chris Mercer with an attack. Wildcard Chris Mercer put the steel chair over A&B's throat and proceeded to vent his personal frustrations towards MCW fans, but more importantly, to A&B himself. Back in September of 2023, this goes back almost 2 years. A&B dove off a 20-foot balcony onto Chris Mercer and broke his leg, causing Chris Mercer to face a career-threatening injury, having to miss 17 months of his career, followed by multiple surgeries. Chris Mercer is completely sick and tired of fans chanting A&B and is determined to leave his mark on NCW forever. What will happen next between A&B and Chris Mercer as this rivalry continues to get personal? Does MCW GM Damian Saint have any solution to this personal issue between these two rivals? I'm going to say this, fans, we have a video for you guys, and it is going to be a bit brutal. But before we get to that video, Big Baby, this rivalry is so personal, so heated. As we look at this picture of Chris Mercer sitting over top of A&B, you know, A&B, a huge MCW favorite. The fans love him. And, you know, Mercer, though, he honestly, you got to really think about it. You know, the fans love A&B, but Mercer really does have some kind of a bone to pick with him. He really is mad. He's really irritated, and he is really looking to end the career of A&B because of him costing him 17 months of his career. So what do we do with this, Big Baby? What's your thoughts on this?
You know, Wrestling with Bros will always stand in their chairs for A&B and give a loud applause. And Mercer coming out with an attack that is brutal, which we do have footage from MCW management. But before we play that video, Mercer is on one right now. You know, I figured when he put A&B through the table at the last show when they fought, that would be the end of it. But
Absolutely.
No, Mercer's back again after he slammed A&B's head into a pole. I saw A&B's head after that match. He was split in the front and in the back, Judas.
He bounced off that metal post, and he went clean through that table. And that wasn't any normal power bomb. He threw him across the ring through that table to make that table splinter into pieces and fly across the ring. So, without further ado, here is the video of the Chris Mercer attack on A&B. Man, this is hard to watch again.
That is not a birthday spanking he deserves.
Oh my God!
Look at the power.
Was that like a claymore almost?
It was like that Daniel Bryan high knee.
That's what it looks like. With a lot more force and nastiness. And he's not done yet. He's still got that chin. Just laying the beat down, strangling AMB, and then placing the chair over AMB. You can hear the distress and the anger from the fans.
I got something to say. And every goddamn one of you is gonna listen. This might be the first time seeing me for some of you, but you sure won't forget after today, because I don't give a goddamn whose birthday it is, because this is my moment. I am Chris, the wild card Mercer. 17 is the goddamn number of months that I have been out with a broken ankle because of this little shit that you guys have idolized. Championship opportunities, the United States Championship, MCW Heavyweight Champion, the Jimmy Snow Memorial Battle Royal. It was all mine to be had. I'm coming back for every single drop of momentum that I had taken away from me because of this guy right here. Every time he comes out here, I'm coming out too. Every single match he has, I'm gonna be involved in it too. You will not see the last of me until this is over. And it ain't over until I win. So I'll leave you with this. While you clean up your
You already did. You already won.
It's all right. You can have your
Let you shut up.
all you want. It ain't gonna change the fact of one thing. It ain't gonna change this. Man can't tame what God wishes to be wild.
And
Wow.
let's just stop right there with what Chris Mercer said. Man can't tame what God wishes to be wild.
Wow.
One hell of a quote, one hell of a statement made on February 28th at Skydive Chicago. He made it clear that he's not done with AMB until he wins. But we've seen him win. We've seen him beat down AMB already. But apparently that wasn't enough. So I think, in my personal opinion, Chris Mercer idea of him winning is for AMB to not be able to wrestle for a period of time with MCW.
You know, Mercer's not going to stop until he puts AMB on the shelf.
He's not.
He already got the victory over AMB at the last show when he put him through that table and he smacked his head off the pole going at 20 miles per hour. And
He did.
you know, now AMB gets choked out by a chair, gets beat by a chair, gets stomped down, gets punched down, gets knocked around like a rag doll. I mean, Mercer came out with probably, honestly, I just want to say, a hell of a promo. A hell of a promo. A statement made by Mercer. Statement is made. Now, will the GM set up one more match between Mercer and AMB?
And honestly, brother, it has to be no rules. It has to be because these two are going to collide and they're going to collide hard. And you can't put that under normal rules, under normal situations or segments. It has to be last man standing until the one person that cannot get back up and cannot respond to the count of 10. So, Damian Saint, it is now in your court. Do we make this final match happen to see who will be dominant in this rivalry? There we go. There we go.
Well, we're going to find out. Hopefully at the next show we get A&B versus Mercer, or at least the match is set up. I'm just going to say this now. I know A&B. He's not going to just take this laying down and just sit down and let this happen. He's going to come back for blood too.
Especially with it happening on his birthday with family and fans in front of him at MCW.
That's a shitty birthday present.
It absolutely was. So then we move into a lucha tag match. Mahiko and Septico versus the OGs. The OGs, Mason Conrad and Joey Marks, took the young and bright stars of Mahiko and Septico as both tag teams make their debuts in Midwest Championship Wrestling, Illinois. This matchup featured a Lucha Rules tag team match as the OGs put on a tag team wrestling clinic showcasing their veteran experience and skillful moveset, carrying a lot of momentum throughout the match. Mahiko and Septico showed their heart and determination by never giving up and leaving the fans in amazement with their awesome Lucha Libre style, but ultimately coming up short as the OGs outsmarted the young tag team and even tried to rip the mask off of Septico, causing him to not see helping the OGs secure a dirty victory, proving that these young kids still have a lot to learn and why they are the best tag team in Midwest Championship Wrestling. Following the match, the fans gave Mahiko and Septico a standing ovation for their efforts and appreciation for their match, only for risky business, Calvin Kelly and Cash Kennedy to run in from the crowd to blindside Mahiko and Septico with a brutal tag team attack. Calvin Kelly and Cash Kennedy have not been seen in MCW for over a year. These two have completely revamped themselves and have made a mission statement to the MCW tag team division and all of the Midwest wrestling scene. So the OGs, we sat here, Big Baby, and I'm not going to flaunt. I thought for sure Mahiko and Septico had this one in the bag, but we had never seen. Honestly, I will be straight out. I was very, very impressed by the team of the OGs. I had never honestly really seen them before, but they proved to me why they are so damn dominant. And then the last guys that came out, Calvin Kelly and Crash Kennedy.
Cash.
Huh?
Cash Kennedy.
That's what I said.
You said Crash.
Oh, Cash. These guys proved why they also deserve to be in the MCW tag division. So what do we get moving in to the future here? Will we get Mahiko and Septico versus Cash Kennedy and Calvin Kelly? We shall see. Big Baby, what's your thought?
Thinking this is luchador match, you figured the luchadors would pick up the W here. But from what I've heard and from what I've seen, the OGs are impressive. I've only got to see photos, but from what I've seen, they're one nasty tag team. And I got to say something about MCW real quick. The tag team division is on fire.
On point.
On fire. Their whole tag division is on fire.
So, now, Now, guys, what you all been waiting for. The main event. Axel Rico versus Nick Nolan. Not only a number one contenders match, but also the loser leaves MCW. And right here, you see Nasty Nick Nolan pointing at Eric Schultz. And I will say this right now. Eric Schultz, Mark, I am not happy. With the number one contenders match now being a loser leaves MCW match, MCW champion Eric Schultz decided to be as close as possible to keep a real close eye on the main event match, as well as MCW GM Damian Saint keeping an eye on the outcome of this matchup. In a back and forth matchup between Axel Rico and Nick Nolan, things were starting off to a very good start, as both Axel Rico and Nasty Nick Nolan were giving it their all. Things began to take a wild turn as the referee was hit by an attack by Axel Rico intended for Nasty Nick Nolan, causing the fans to erupt as MCW champion Eric Schultz seized the opportunity to knock out Nasty Nick Nolan with his signature briefcase to help Axel Rico defeat Nasty Nick Nolan. MCW fans were completely in shock as Nick Nolan must now leave MCW Illinois. Nick Nolan was emotional as he slowly was able to get himself up off the canvas after his loss. And as he was exiting, the MCW fans showered him on his way out with Nasty Nick chants. And thank you, Nolan chants. So what do we got to say about this, big baby?
I'm a huge Nolan supporter. I love Nasty Nick Nolan. You know, actually right behind me right here is a Nasty Nick Nolan vest during his babyface run. And I'm going to tell you, we at Wrestling with Bros have always supported Nasty Nick Nolan. Nasty Nick Nolan taking a loss here and leaving MCW, I'm shocked.
Absolutely.
I'm damn near speechless.
He just became babyface.
The fact that I'm going to come to the next MCW show and there's going to be no Nasty Nick Nolan and no Venom playing in the background, which, hold on by a minute, we do have some footage from MCW management.
A huge little fan of Nasty Nick right there. You know,
it's crazy that there might be a show.
That little fan, a huge supporter of Nasty Nick. Let me remind you, that little fan is the nephew of AMB.
Yep.
So, you know, huge supporters from the Wrestling with Bro families for Nasty Nick Nolan. But what we have to ask is, what is next for Nasty Nick Nolan?
And let's not take anything from Axel Rico. Okay,
No.
What an amazing talent that is. And what an amazing main eventer he's possibly going to be in MCW. But now he has to go through Schultz. And that's no easy task when you got a cheater that will cheat at all costs to retain that title that he thinks he won.
Yep. So we got to ask ourselves, guys, Wrestling with Bros here tonight to talk about the MCW event, February 28, 2025. So we got to ask these questions, guys. And we want you to think about this as we move into April for the April show. What is next for Nasty Nick Nolan? Is Axel Rico and Eric Schultz colluding for a big plan to take over MCW? How will MCW GM Damian Saint be able to contain Chris the Wild Card Mercer? And how will Sadie Bell and Reagan Lydell respond to the appearance of Leslie Michelle in MCW?
And in just 20 minutes, everybody, I have to get this out there. In just 20 minutes, go to Midwest Championship Wrestling Illinois' YouTube channel at 9 o'clock. The show that if you not got to see yet will drop at 9 o'clock. And I repeat, go to Midwest Championship Illinois' YouTube channel. They just dropped the announcement on their Facebook, and we cannot wait. Go to their Facebook, subscribe to them on Facebook, Midwest Championship Illinois, and go to their YouTube where you can see all the MCW action.
And I have to also ask here, can White Meat and the Mutants settle their feud, or are we just getting started? Will the OGs be able to outsmart the tag team division and make their way to the top of the MCW division? We shall find out, guys. The card is stacked for 2025. For all MCW information, check out their Facebook page, Midwest Championship Wrestling Illinois, for ticket info, show info, and much, much more. Big baby?
Absolutely. And, this has been another awesome episode. This is Big Baby Ben.
Another awesome episode of Wrestling with Bros, colluding with MCW. We love you guys. We love the fans. This is Judas Black. Have a great night and stay fancy.